For this next lesson, we'll use the drawing that you made in the Multi-Part Part Studios exercise. And from one sketch, we can create 5 unique parts from it. So open up Exercise Multi-Part Part Studios, click on the Document menu, and click on Copy Workspace, and change the document name to Exercise Clamp. Click OK. Okay, move the clamp to the center of your working area. Click on the following parts. So the only part not selected would be the smallest circles. Now click Extrude, and we're making a new solid with a depth of 5 mm. Accept the part and rename Part 1 to Large Arm. Okay, turn on the master sketch. And then let's extrude the small arm. Select all the parts. So select all of the parts except for the small circle. And do another extrusion, but extrude on the opposite direction. Make sure you're making a solid. Click on New, because this is going to be a new part. And then a depth of 5 mm. Then click Check. Change the name of this to Small Arm. Now create a new sketch on the face of the large arm. And then change the name of this sketch to Large Arm Grip Sketch. Right click on the sketch plane and view normal to sketch. And zoom in to this circle of the large arm. Now we'll draw a square coming from this center point of the circle. Select Center Point Rectangle. Move your cursor to the center of the circle and hold the Alt button as you drag the square. Holding the Alt button will make sure that you are drawing a square. Next, click on the Line tool and look for the midpoint of this line and draw a vertical line up. Click on the Line tool again to draw a triangle. Now let's dimension. From the bottom of this square to this line from the master sketch, put 1. And then this vertical line, type 10. And from this point to this point, type 10 as well. Now click on this circle and click on Use to project that circle. Click on this line and click Construction Line. Change that to a construction line. And click on this 2 diagonal and click Equal. Now that should fully constrain your drawing. Accept the sketch. Okay, let's start a new sketch, this time on the small arm. So sketch, click on the small arm, change its name to Small Arm Grip Sketch. Right click on the plane, view normal to sketch. Zoom into this circle. Let's draw something similar. Click on the center point rectangle. Start at the center of the circle of the small arm. Select Center Point Rectangle. Start at the center of the small arm circle. Hold the Alt key, click and drag. Next, draw a vertical line coming from the midpoint. And then complete the triangle. Change this line to construction. Select this circle and click Use to project the circle. Select all of the sides of the square and click one side of the square you drew a while ago and click equal. Click on the diagonals and click one diagonal from the drawing you had before. Click equal. And then click on the construction lines. Click equal. That should fully constrain your second drawing. Accept the drawing and go back to the isometric view. Now let's create a reference plane. Click on New Plane, and for your entity, click on the large arm and then offset it by 25 mm. And make sure that direction is going this way. Now change the name of the plane to midplane. Accept the plane. Now we'll draw 3 new features from the master sketch. So hide the large arm grip sketch and the small arm grip sketch. We just need the master sketch. Zoom in. Hide the small arm and the large arm at this point. And then select the following circles. Once selected, click Extrude. Make sure you're extruding a solid, new, and then change the direction to the opposite direction. Change blind to up to face, and for the face, click on the midplane. Turn on the large arm and the small arm, and you'll see how the pin goes all the way to the midplane, but it doesn't go through the small arm and the large arm. So we need a second end position. So click on second end position and select up to face and click on the large arm. Now click check and you'll see that the pin goes all the way to the large arm. Now let's create a third pin. Hide the small arm and select the following circles. Click Extrude. We're doing a new solid facing the opposite direction up to the midplane. And that's what we get. Click on the small arm and you'll see that it actually starts from the small arm already. So there's no need for a second end position. So click check. So now we have 3 new parts. Let's rename the parts. Part number 3 is the large arm pin. Part number 4 is shared by the large arm and the small arm. It's called the pivot pin. And part 5 is the small arm pin. If you zoom in, you'll notice that the pins are interfering with the arms. We are going to use the Boolean function in order to resolve that. Click Boolean, and we're doing a subtract. And for the tools that we are going to use to subtract, we'll click on the large arm and the small arm. And the targets, the ones that we need to subtract some parts to, would be the large arm pin, the pivot arm, and the small arm pin. Notice that the large arm and the small arm became invisible. We want to keep those tools, so you click on Keep Tools and click Check. And notice that the interference disappeared. Now let's create the grip. Turn on the large arm grip sketch and the small arm grip sketch and hide the master sketch. At this point, hide the midplane for now. And now select all the profiles. The only thing you're not selecting would be the triangle. And turn on the midplane again. And click Extrude. Reverse the direction. And then for the depth, click up to face, and click the mid-plane. So make sure that this is a solid and we're creating new part. We're not adding to any of the parts that we've done before. So once you confirm it's solid, new, up to the face midplane, click check. And now you have two new parts. Let's change the names to large arm grip and small arm grip. This is how your drawing should look like at this point. Okay, hide the two sketches and let's move on. Hide the large arm and show the large arm grip sketch. Select the circle and click extrude. We're creating a solid, but this time we're just adding. So turn on the large arm again. So click here and then change it to up to face. And for the face, click on the large arm. So we want that extrusion not to go beyond the large arm. And this is not new. We're just adding to an existing part. So click add, click on merge scope, and we are adding that up to the large arm grip. And then accept the feature. Now let's hide the large arm, and you'll see that the grip now has this pin sticking out of it. Let's do the same thing with the small arm grip. Hide the small arm. Turn on the small arm grip sketch. Click on the circle. Turn on the small arm. Click extrude. We're just adding this. So up to the face of the small arm. Okay, revert it to new. We don't want a new one. We want to add it. Click on merge scope and we want to add it to the small arm grip. So before you accept this feature, make sure it's solid that you're adding to the small arm grip. Click check. Now hide the small arm and you'll see that you have this pin sticking out of the small arm grip. Enable the small arm again and hide the small arm grip sketch and the large arm grip sketch. Now let's mirror some parts. Select mirror, click on part mirror, click add, click the entities to mirror as the large pin, the pivot pin, the small arm pin, the large arm grip, and the small arm grip. And the mirror plane will be the surface of the large arm grip. And then before you hit check, make sure that you're adding and you're not creating new parts. So click check. So that's how it looks like so far. Now let's fillet the edges of the arm grips. Click fillet. Fillet the edges and add this part of the triangle. Change the radius to 2 and accept the feature. Now select all the parts. Large arm, small arm, large arm pin, pivot pin, small arm pin, large arm grip, and the small arm grip. Right click, assign materials for all 7 parts. Choose aluminum 1060. Accept the material. So just a recap, what you've done so far is from one master sketch, you were able to draw 5 unique parts, and you created 2 additional sketches to make the large arm grip and the small arm grip. Now let's make some design changes to understand the full effect of using a master sketch to drive several parts and features. So click on master sketch, turn it on, and edit. Then right click, view normal to sketch. Now change all the dimensions of the sketch. Notice that with all the changes on the dimensions, the drawing just adjusted itself. Accept the changes. and see how the drawing adjusted itself as well. Edit the midplane, change the offset distance to 35, and even the pins adjusted itself as well. So that concludes our lesson for now. Select all the parts and click on Mask Properties, and you should get this number right here. Now take a screenshot of your work, plus the mask properties and your name, and then send this to albericoj@mdusd.net. Now close your document, and we will use this to create an assembly.